Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dan here with GrapeVineRecording, and welcome to this video. I kind of wanted to just start the camera rolling and pretty much go straight into it. I've been doing YouTube in one capacity or another for coming up to 6 years now. I started a gaming channel in the end of 2010. So yeah, I think that works out at about 6 years. And then in one shape or another, I've been doing YouTube for that time, going from gaming channel to gaming channel, and starting up Grapevine, and now basically doing Grapevine. Pretty much that's all I do. And throughout that time, I've always been trying to upgrade my camera equipment, my lighting equipment, but most importantly, my audio equipment. Of course, running a gaming channel, a lot more focus was down to the audio and down to, you didn't have to worry too much about the camera because, especially when I started, there wasn't a hell of a lot of camera work going on. So I kind of feel like that's only something that's been, gathering up steam lately. And basically, one of the mainstays of my entire YouTube career has been the Blue Snowball microphone. And I kind of alluded to this in one of the previous videos, which will be linked above here. I got it wrong which side it was on last time, so it'll be up there somewhere. And I just wanted to kind of speak a little bit about this microphone, speak a little bit about like the qualities of it, why I think it's so good. And basically, don't want to go into too much detail in terms of like recording quality or anything like that. I'll just put a test towards the end of me just speaking. I'm not going to sing or record guitar or anything like that, because for me, this microphone has purely been a voiceover microphone for me. It's something, as I say, that's served me well for nearly 6 years now. And I want to kind of show it off in that light. I want to show it off in the way that I've been using it, in the capacity that I've been using it, and showing off why it's worked so well for me for 6 years and is still going strong now. So yeah, this is it. This is the Blue Snowball. I'll get some B-roll and give you some nicer footage than just this one here. But this is the original Blue Snowball. I got it for probably about £100, give or take, back in the day. It comes with a wonderful little tripod, which is tremendous. It's like an extendable tripod. It just goes in. It works via USB. It just plugs straight into your computer. You push record. Select the microphone as an input. Push record, and you are recording there and then. This was one of the microphones that I used. Basically, I was using headphone microphones, like Microsoft Live Chat headphones, which had a little like microphone that come across. I was using that at first. I'll actually play a clip of one of my very first YouTube videos.
Yeah, might be good to note as well, I'm playing this on just a normal difficulty. I haven't raised or lowered the slider in any way, so it's just a bog standard difficulty.
And I take it you've just heard like the audio quality based on that. And then I moved over to the Blue Snowball kind of about 6 months into like the YouTube career, as it were. It was definitely the step that I needed to take. Back then, it was a lot more difficult to get partnered than it is now. And to impress what would it be? Like a company, it's called an MCN. It's like a network. To impress them, I had to submit like a reel, like a show reel. So I went and like upped my recording audio game so I could go and do it. As I've said before, like the Blue Snowball has been somewhat retired now, just because I've upgraded even further up to the Shure SM7. So the Blue Snowball is reserved for some Skype conversations, things like that. It doesn't get as much use as it did. Still works perfectly fine, as it always has done. It's been a beast. It's been a solid beast. I'm not entirely certain whether or not you can still buy this version now. And I've seen a couple of things about the Snowball Ice. And when the other guy who ran the YouTube channel with, when he wanted one, we bought another Blue Snowball, and that was a white version, and it didn't quite work in the same way that this did. It still sounded phenomenal, and I'm sure all the Blue Snowballs that you can go out and buy now are still, an unbelievable bit of kit. It's just, it didn't have some of the features that this had. Most notably, on the back, again, I'm going to get some B-roll of this so it looks better than this. There's a 3-switch selector, and quite frankly, the difference between the 3 selections are, number one, like in selection 1, it is a cardioid microphone, which means it picks up sound from the front and rejects sound from the back. which is great for voiceover. You know, if you're sitting in front of a computer screen, you kind of want your voice to be captured at the front, and then the reflections off the back to not get, you know, to not make it into the recording, so you get a much less echoey sound. But basically, if you think of it, so it's facing down, it's got the most acceptance at the front, like so, and then rejected at the back. So it kind of works as like a heart shape, like so. Position number 2 is the same thing. It is a cardioid pickup pattern, but it's got a 10 decibel pad on it, so it's just 10 decibels quieter, which is good. A lot of people use this for like guitar recordings, you know, for like guitar amps and stuff, and guitar amps are very loud things, so it's just a 10 decibel attenuator on that. And then selection 3 is an interesting one because it turns the microphone into an omnidirectional microphone, which means it's no longer less sensitive at the back. It's kind of like a full circle all the way around. You could talk into it like this or spin it round and keep talking like that, and it would, you know, theoretically, it would sound the same all the way around. And as far as I'm aware, the other versions of the Snowball, like the white version that we're, like, as I say, that we also bought, didn't have that feature on it. It was pretty much just a cardioid microphone, and, you know, you didn't get the extra switchable features on the back. You don't necessarily need them switchable features. They're kind of just nice to have. You know, it gives you more options, makes it a little bit more of a versatile thing. But just in selection number 1, and just talking into it, you know, right up front and center, still gives very usable sounds. I'm still pretty good friends with quite a few YouTube, you know, gaming channels who have got, you know, who are doing very, very well for themselves, and a lot of them guys still use a Blue Snowball. So it shows how well, how versatile, how high quality, how long lasting, how robust this little thing is, and for the price of it, it is absolutely ridiculous. But the best part, of course, is that it's a USB microphone. All you need is a USB cable. There's my USB cable. I was going to drag it up, but it's all the way plugged into the computer. It's just a USB cable that, you know, plugs into the back there, like that old printer cable, and it goes into a USB, and that is it. You don't need any audio interfaces, XLR cables, you know, extra power supplies, anything like that. You literally just plug it in, and it works. I think over the years, you know, you get some bits of equipment that just are the standards and just stand the test of time, and this is definitely one of them. It's something that I've used, and, you know, if I didn't have the equipment that I had now, I would be absolutely more than happy with going back and using them. In this lightsaber video, which I'll also put up above me somewhere, I actually use that as the voiceover mic, so you can go and check that out, have a listen to that. Of course, I'm going to do a little test in a minute anyway, and I've got absolutely no problem with using it when and where the time is right. That's one of the things that I like to do with my equipment. You know, all of them have a purpose, and I don't think necessarily a microphone can be better, you know, outright than another microphone. It's just what's best for that time. Like, there's an idiom which is the best camera is the one that you've got with you. You know, it's the one that, when it doesn't get in your way, you know, it's not a burden to use. And there's certain microphones which I've got which are in cases, you know, that are locked away tight because they're delicate things, they're expensive things, and I don't want them to break. You know, so for a lot of the times, if I wanted to just do something quickly, and just wanted to talk into this, that's the best microphone to use. It's, you know, it works. It's a beast. It's solid. It's just one of them. It's one of them things that have been on my desk throughout the entire 6 years of me doing this, and it's very, very sentimental in that way. Is that, you know, in the good times, the bad times, the growth of each channel, you know, the demise of some channels, it's been there all the time. And, you know, even with Grapevine in throughout all of the videos that we've done, it's always been on that desk, and I love it. It's turned into a bloody work of art now. And look, it's starting to get a little bit, oh, you won't be able to see it. It's starting to get a bit of rust. There's a little bit of rust just going in there, which I think, you know, builds character, doesn't it? And, you know, this one's mine, and the one thing that I love about it is that it's always been there, and it always will be. It always will be. Right, so we can have a little test with the Snowball. I'm currently talking to you through the lapel mic that I've got plugged in direct to the camera. The Snowball is going over to the PC and is recording over there. You're still listening to the lapel mic. So what I can do now is switch from the lapel mic over to the Blue Snowball, and then you can just hear the difference. Obviously, there's a lot of benefits of having a lapel mic, so it's just attached to you, and whenever you turn or whenever you move, you kind of always got a microphone on you. With the Snowball, if it's going to be somewhere, static, it's going to just be sitting in front of you, right in front of your mouth, then it's something that is definitely a benefit for that. I think with people with like a desktop setup where it's like you have your desk and that's the place that you're in, this is perfect for that because it's pretty low profile. It's got a very distinct design to it. I think it's a very cool looking design. It's got this red light on the top, which kind of indicates that it's working. I'm not a massive fan of that. In a lot of cases, like I used to just tape that up because even when your computer was off, the red light used to stay on. Wasn't a massive fan of it, so I used to tape that. But now it's back into its OG packaging. What I'm going to do now is switch over to position number 2. Now remember that position number 2 is just the same cardioid pattern, so it's picking up from here, rejecting from the back, but it's just 10 dB quieter, so it's you can be a lot louder. If you're talking a lot closer to it, if you're gonna be shouting loud, if you're gonna be recording things that are louder, it's just a nicer way of attenuating on the front end, so you don't overload the digital preamp going into the computer. You've got no clipping or anything like that. It just gives you a little bit more room. And then we're going to move over to position number 3. Now, position number 3 should be a little bit more interesting because now it's picking up everywhere. So what I'm going to do, this might not work, by the way, but what I'm going to do is just pick it up and then slowly just start rotating the microphone, and really it should start it should stay pretty much consistent. Like now we're talking from the back, and then we're going to keep moving around, and it should stay pretty much this similar tonally, and it shouldn't drop in volume at any point. Any volume changes might just be through me talking. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move back to position number 1 and do the same thing, and you'll definitely hear a distinct difference when I move around the back. So now we're back to number 1. And then what we're going to do is, again, continue to turn and try and remain talking at a consistent volume, just so you don't hear any, there's no differences in the way I'm speaking. Now we're at the back, so it should be quieter, probably a little bit thinner, usually. We're going to continue to spin around this side. We should start getting back to the way we were at the beginning. And then once we get around here, it should sound pretty much similar to how it is when we're directly in front of it. And then we get back to here. The only problem is now is my cable has been spun round twice. So now it's pretty much back to the way it was. And that's obviously, with a lot of these things, that's the best way to gauge how well you'd like a microphone, because it's all basically down to how you speak. Primarily, I use this like this. I'd use it just by speaking, and I'd be playing a game in the background. I keep all the audio coming through my headphones, so there was no bleed going into the microphone. And that's pretty much it. But hopefully that's a good insight. It's a microphone that I've used so much. I've probably used this microphone more than any other microphone that I've ever owned. And it's always just stayed great. It's I love the SM7 now because that imparts a certain sound characteristic that I like. But as I was saying before, I've got no problem in going back and using this if I ever needed to. It's one of them great things that just stay on my desk. It's pretty much always plugged in, and I know it's going to be there when it whenever I need it. I don't need an external interface. I don't need to worry about gain staging, anything like that, because it's just plug and play, and I absolutely love it. And I think if you're interested in getting it, you'd love it too. It's a great multi-purpose mic to have, and I couldn't recommend it any more than I do.